Just a little while long.
That was developed on the PS3 a number of years ago called Kara. It tended to be a short tech demo that writer and director David Cage decided he wanted to make into a full game just because he wanted to know what happened next. The story is about androids who are very much human, at least in appearance, and pretty much handle all of the menial labor. Clerks, nurses, janitors, etc. That's what the androids are for. The neo-noir story starts with an unexplained incident that causes some strange behaviors, creating deviant androids that show emotions. David Cage, the creator, took inspiration from Ray Kurzweil's The Singularity is Near, which is a non-fiction book about how human intelligence development is much slower than machine intelligence development. The game looks like it's intending to explore the area between android and human, dealing with artificial intelligence as an entity that will eventually overcome humanity, at least in intelligence. What will happen is the question.
Off of the interstate near the northwestern point of the map, you'll find a famous scene from the movie No Country for Old Men reenacted. You'll even get some free cash for your troubles.
Now, you are a dead man!
There is a machine that can be found at some construction sites that has the exact same paint scheme as Claptrap from Borderlands.
I can't believe this.
You can visit a location that's an obvious nod to the Playboy Mansion, complete with a grotto and topless girls.
I can't wait to go home and exfoliate.
Number 9, Quantic Dream, the developer of the game, led by David Cage, developed an entirely new engine for Detroit Beyond Human. They wanted to advance features in rendering specifically, as this is a narrative game and depends heavily on your immersion in the story, script, and general emotion of all of the characters. That's what it's about. Androids developing emotion. So the more film-like the rendering can be, the better. They spent time on shading, dynamic lighting, and something that I think is rarely talked about, but camera physics, as well as effects like bokeh, which is the depth of field that blurs out the background and makes it appear more film-like. The word actually most specifically refers to lights blurred in the background and the effect that that generates, and it's something that they specifically worked on after Sony's Mark Cerny, who was the lead architect of the PlayStation 4, came in and evaluated their current effects. This was around 2016, and the engine actually handles pretty damn well at a 2160p checkerboard that's stable at 30 frames per second. The volumetric lighting is also better on the PS4 Pro, and to say the very least, it is going to be a pretty game.
If you're working on creating a video game or any piece of media, there's a lot to be said about the importance of sketching out your ideas before you execute them. Whether that be like a story treatment or even some concept art, this process is usually essential for getting the entire team on the same mental wavelength. But honestly, there's just a lot of hurdles to jump through if you want to create some good-looking 3D concepts for cheap. Products like AutoCAD and 3ds Max can run you thousands of dollars just to get creating concept art. So when Rob Ruppel, art director at Naughty Dog for the second Uncharted game Among Thieves in 2009, said he used a free and open software for 3D sketching, and that surprised people. Yeah, that's right, a developer creating one of the biggest, most popular, expensive games at a time used SketchUp. This is a Google-owned tool that prides itself on being free and for everyone to use. Ruppel said that the tool allowed him to create beautiful concept art in record time and that he heavily used it in creating the Shambhala area at the end of the game. So it turns out Uncharted is a really good example of why tools like these should be open source and available to everyone.
अब कैपकॉम की आदत है कि जब भी वो कोई रीमेक बनाती है तो वो ओरिजिनल गेम के फेमस डायलॉग्स को इंक्लूड नहीं करती और इससे फैंस थोड़े नाराज से हो जाते हैं क्योंकि वो एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि हमारे जो फेवरेट डायलॉग है ये तो इस रीमेक में ज़रूर होगा और इतना बढ़िया ग्राफिक्स में तो उस डायलॉग की जो फील होगी वो और भी ज़्यादा अच्छी होगी। और इस बार रेजिडेंट इविल 3 रीमेक में वो फेमस डायलॉग आया है, जैसे कि जिल का वो फेमस डायलॉग भी दोबारा हमें मिलता है।
You want stars? I'll give you stars.
Come on, you creepy ass stalker. You want stars? I'll give you stars.
बस फर्क इतना है कि वो ये डायलॉग अब अलग सिनेरियो में बोलती है। जब हमने रेजिडेंट इविल 2 रीमेक खेला था तब कुछ ऐसी मिस्ट्रीज थी जो तब समझ नहीं आई थी, लेकिन रेजिडेंट इविल 2 और रेजिडेंट इविल 3 सेम टाइमलाइन में ही सेट है, बल्कि रेजिडेंट इविल 3 के स्टार्टिंग के इवेंट्स जो हैं वो रेजिडेंट इविल 2 से पहले होते हैं। इसलिए हमें हमारे कुछ सवालों के जवाब इसमें मिल गए हैं। जैसे कि रेजिडेंट इवल 3 में जब आप रकून सिटी पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट के वेस्ट विंग की ओर बढ़ते हैं तब वहाँ 2 पुलिस ऑफिसर्स दिखते हैं जो लिकर के हाथों द्वारा मारे गए हैं। अब ये 2 ऑफिसर्स उसी जगह पे रेजिडेंट इवल 2 में भी मिलते हैं। तो तब लोग सोच रहे थे कि आखिर इन ऑफिसर्स का इतना बुरा हाल किसने किया, और अब वो बात समझ में आ जाती है। रेजिडेंट इवल 2 की स्टार्टिंग में हमें मार्विन मिलता है जो इंजर्ड है, और उसका ये हाल कैसे हुआ वो रेजिडेंट इवल 3 में पता लगता है जब उस पर एक ज़ॉम्बी अटैक कर देता है। रेजिडेंट इवल 3 में कार्लोस को एक नोट मिलता है जो उसे लॉकर ना खोलने की एडवाइस देता है, लेकिन रेजिडेंट इवल 2 में वो नोट नहीं है, इसलिए लियोन लॉकर खोल लेता है और फिर ये होता है। रेजिडेंट इवल 2 में लियोन को एक जगह मिलती है जहाँ के पाइप से स्टीम लीक हो रही है एंड वॉल में भी होल है, तो वो इसलिए है क्योंकि रेजिडेंट इवल 3 में कार्लोस ने ही वो होल किया था। RE3 में कार्लोस को एक यूनिफॉर्म मिलती है जो एक्चुअली में लियोन की है, और लियोन के अभी पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट आया नहीं है। जब वो आएगा तो इस यूनिफॉर्म को पहनेगा, मतलब रेजिडेंट इवल 2 में पहनेगा। अब अगर आपने रेजिडेंट इवल 2 खेला होगा और उसमें लॉकर के कॉम्बिनेशंस ढूंढ लिए होंगे तो वो कोड्स इस गेम में भी काम आएंगे और बिल्कुल सेम ही है, क्योंकि आखिर लॉकर्स और सेव्स भी तो सेम ही है।
Casting for Detroit Become Human spanned Los Angeles, London, Great Britain, and Paris, France, hiring more than 250 actors to portray 513 different roles. There is not one specific protagonist either. There are 3 different protagonist characters, and there's no game over screen at any point. If any of the 3 playable characters die, the story just continues without them. Quantic Dream is claiming you can really change the outcome of the story based on the decisions you make and the actions you take. Obviously, this is a thing we've heard before in video games, but this is the Heavy Rain developer who did a pretty decent job at that, at least given the tech of the time. And really, regardless of how you can change the events of the game, I have a feeling it's all done at some level that it will at least be satisfying one way or the other. Still, I'm quite interested exactly mechanically how different you can make the game's ending.
They said, don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught.